Hello and welcome back to my audition diaries, and if you've never seen me before, I tend to do these videos where I film an update at the end of each month about statistics, thoughts, feelings, lessons learned about the auditions that I've had that month. And I'm a represented actor. I also find auditions myself through my own contacts, through research. I try to audition as much as I can, and I don't make this with the intention that everyone should compare themselves to me. I just think it's nice for me to be able to reflect on what kind of things I'm being seen for and where I'm going, and to have that kind of picture of my audition situation to look back on. And also it's interesting to be able to talk about experiences, share experiences, and please do leave any thoughts or experiences in the comments so we can talk about auditions. And I'm actually filming this introduction a tiny bit late because I'm filming this partway through the time period of months that I'm documenting about the auditions of, and quite a few different interesting experiences have happened. I've filmed a short film, so it's definitely an interesting episode, I feel, I guess. It feels bold to call it an episode, but I'm starting to format it more and more like a series, and I think this is something that we don't talk about enough, and it's really nice to be able to open up those conversations. So it's just interesting to be able to think about the industry and learn about the industry, and the more data I collect on the industry, the more I'll be able to understand and win at acting. So let's go and let me share with you all that's gone on October to December in auditions for me. So in October I did 3 auditions, 2 were self-tapes and 1 was in person. And in the in-person audition I had to sing, which is good practice, and I feel like I'm getting less freaked out by that the more I do it. And I actually sang a song that I've never sang in an audition before, which is interesting and like probably a good thing because I've prepared all these songs that I've not yet used in auditions, so it's good to branch out, try something new, see how it goes. And in one of the self tapes, it was for a student film, and I'd actually asked to tape because I couldn't make the in-person audition slot, and it was a no, but they offered to put me in touch with friends that they had in a film school, which I think is really nice because sometimes people think you're not the right fit for this role, but I still like your tape and I still want to help you out and like pass your details on. So that was really nice. And something else that happened, I mean, we can talk positively about the auditions that did happen, but to be honest, I did submit for an open call, and you'd find out whether or not you had an audition slot the day before the first audition day. So I prepared my material just in case I got a slot, and then I didn't get a slot. But I felt like genre-wise, I fit the open call, area-wise, location-wise, I fit the open call. But just, I've heard from people who went there that like, there were loads of people who submitted. It was like 4, 5, 6 times the amount of slots they had. So I didn't fit, I don't think, the show exactly. Like there wasn't an exact good fit for a character in that show. But then the following week I got an email about an opportunity in my area short film wise, and I sent in my spotlight and I got that. And then like 2 weeks later I was filming a short film. So I think it just really shows that the right opportunities will happen for you, and what's not right for you won't happen. But like you never know what will happen the following week. Like it might be a no for something, but like anything could happen at any time in this industry. Like stuff happens suddenly and pops up out of nowhere, and suddenly you've got a short film you're filming. So I think it's important to not get too set on certain specific opportunities, but just be open to the fact that the right opportunities will happen for you, and you've just got to put your best work out there. So in November I self-taped for 2 different projects, including my first ever commercial tape, which is really interesting to see the kind of commercials that I get seen for, because there was a very specific brief and I very much fit all the categories, so that's very interesting to see. And it's very interesting to tape for a commercial because I've heard a lot about it, like some people have to like eat pizza or like pretend to drive a car, and it feels very different to other sorts of tapes, because other sorts of tapes I choose which take I'm going with. Well, usually I only really do one take, and if it feels right and I feel the emotions, I go with it. But with commercials, like if you're just doing an action and demonstrating like eating some food or something, for example, then it feels a bit creatively different as a process, so that was interesting to find out more about. I also found the other tape interesting. I did a read of it because it was like pages and pages and pages of just me, and I got told we'd just like to see you reading it, so that wasn't too challenging either, but I am working a lot, so it's interesting and a different sort of vibe to be like, oh, I'll film a tape right before I set off to go to work in the morning. But I think that like years ago that would have really stressed me out, and the idea of having an agent or having regular tapes was something that would worry me about how I'd be able to manage that time-wise, and that I wouldn't freak myself out about it. But the fact that I'm able to manage the pressure of it and just like not really feel too much pressure, but just be able to get stuff done alongside having lots of plans is a really good sign and a really good skill and habit to get into. And I feel like we often forget how far we've come with the like tape process and learning about acting and becoming an actor, but like the fact that I'm able to just turn around tapes and it's not really too deep and too stressful, and it doesn't take over my whole life and I'm not like submerged in fear, is a really good sign, and I'm glad and grateful to have been seen. So I'm filming this sort of towards the end of December, but I still have a few days left, and I have 2 self-taped scripts that I'm working on. But I was feeling the pressure, to be honest, to be like, I should get them done before the end of the year. I should be learning lines on Christmas Day when there's a bit of a quiet moment on Christmas. I should be spending that time learning some monologues. And then I thought, why? Actually, why? Because Christmas is the one time of year where you're basically guaranteed to not be getting auditions through and emails through from my agent and all of that. Like, the industry is shut down for a few days, so I might as well take the time to make the most of that, because the deadlines for these self-tapes are actually quite a few days, sort of like a week into January, so I definitely have time to prepare them and do them later on. I just feel like when the submission window is so long, I feel like I need to get them in as soon as possible. But really, if I could put time into it after the Christmas period and send off a good tape of it, and it would be better because I've put the time into it and I've waited until the festive season's over, then that's probably better. Actually, saying that, I did actually get a self-tape script that I did in between Christmas and New Year last year, so I do remember learning lines, filming a self-tape, sending it off, but that was for a project for someone I know. But that's my December update, and let me know how your audition period, October to December, went in the comments. Let me know any thoughts and let's have a chat. And also subscribe and stay tuned, because I will be documenting my audition experiences, thoughts. This sort of like audition diaries series will be continuing into 2026, where hopefully I'll be seen for loads more cool projects, hopefully be booking stuff. And also what happened this month as well is that one project that I filmed end of October came out, so that's exciting. I had a little short film, and I actually got that role in that short film purely because of my connection to National Youth Theatre, being a member of the National Youth Theatre, and based on my Spotlight link. So sometimes you can get projects as well just through who you know and having your show reel ready to send off, so that's something important as well. And that's actually been really helpful for me throughout this year to have those materials, and that's got me a lot of opportunities as well as auditioning and filming stuff specifically for a project, because sometimes you don't audition, sometimes it's just you know someone and you've auditioned for them before, or like you send in a show reel and then you get a student film. Like all of these kind of things can happen as well, so make sure you have your materials up to date. And let's chat in the comments, and thank you so much for everyone who has been supporting and watching my channel over the last year. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the new year.